Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of selections from Iliad Book 2, and I got up to line 412, which is the beginning of the prayer to Zeus by Agamemnon. Zeus, Kudeste, most famous, the greatest one, the Zeus of the black cloud, from Kaline and then Nephos, root of the black cloud, you who dwell in the ether, in the air. Then we get may with an infinitive, and we get some prins. So as usual, you don't translate the first one, but the second, may with the infinitive in place of an imperative. So may the sun not sink, the epi goes with duno here, may the sun not sink, and may darkness, still the may at the beginning, may darkness not come upon us, the epi goes with the elthane, knifas, darkness, may darkness not come upon us until I, and then we've got some infinitives. Baleain, it could be a future infinitive here, or it could just be an aorist uncontracted. So before, now pranes means with face down, is the meaning, with the head downwards. So I might just translate that to the ground, because it's referring in a minute to the melathron. So may the sun not set and darkness not come upon us before I cast down to the ground, for pranes, the melathron, the hall of Priam, which is Aithaloen. This is a third declension adjective, Aithaloes, and it means sooty, so covered with soot from the fireplace. So black with soot. And praesai, and I burn, this is from pim prami, the root is pray, and I burn the thuretra. These are the doors, or the perhaps the portals. And then we've got a genitive here with destructive fire. So it's a slightly different use of the genitive. So I burn the doors with destructive fire. And daixai, from daizdo is the verb. Notice the diaeresis. It means to cleave or tear asunder, divide into two. So, and I cut in two. Now, hectorion is an adjective, the Hectorian ketone. In other words, the ketone, the clothing of Hector, peristathes, in around his breast, plural for singular, rogalion, torn apart by bronze. So it's a poetic way of saying having cut him to pieces. It's a rather grim expression here. So may all this not happen. And around him, again, it's all part of this wish, may many comrades, praenes again, face down in the dust. Ladzoiato, this is third person plural again, it's the ato for nto. The verb is ladzomai, to take, often used in place of lambano, with the same meaning, I think. So may they take the earth odax in their teeth. This is a kind of adverb here. You can sort of see some of the roots here. But it's one of these funny little expressions. There's various of these in Homer, odaxes in their teeth. So around him may many of his comrades take the earth, face down in the dust with their teeth. Thus he spoke, and now u goes with the po, and again this is enclitic, it's the hoi for auto, and we get the accent on here even though it's indefinite. So not yet then did the son of Kronos bring it to fulfillment hoi for him, but hogedektomen hira. I like this bit here. Dekto is a apocryphated aorist form from dechomai, to receive, and there's a number of these little shortened or apocryphated aorist forms in Homer. They fit the meter very nicely, and it's quite a useful little word. So, but he, and it's almost nonetheless, but perhaps he, in fact, this is Zeus, received the sacrifices, but Ophelen, this is from Ophello, to increase, he increased the ponon amegaton, the unenviable task. This is alpha privative plus that megaro root. So he increased the unenviable task. So he didn't fulfill it yet. He happily received the sacrifices, but he made the job even harder. He increased the inevitable task. But when then they had prayed and they had cast in front of them the barley grains, the word we've had before, an eru son, this is an aorist from an eruo. It's only generally used in this context. He drew back the heads of the victims. Now the victims aren't mentioned here, but he drew back. It's literally. So first of all, he drew back. You've got to understand the heads of the victims. And he esfaxin from spasdo. He slaughtered them and skinned them. These are all aorists. We get the three things happening. He draws back their heads, he slaughters them and skins them, and he cut out from ek and tamno. So he cut out the thighs, and ekalupsan goes with kata. So he covered them over with the kinese, with the fat, literally having made a double fold. So again, you need to look at the commentaries on these things. There's a whole set process by which the sacrifices are made and then prepared for the cooking and then the eating. It's a sort of type scene. You get a lot of these in Homer, and this one in particular gets repeated a fair bit. It's what's called a type scene. So having folded it over double, and over them, omothetesan, from omothetio, he laid raw meat, raw flesh. It's from thet, root from tuthami, the thet there, and the omos is a word for raw, sometimes raw meat. So he laid over them raw flesh. Kaitamen skidzesi fulusi katakaion. And some of it, satamen, they were burning from katakaio on skidzesi fuloisin. These are on sticks with the leaves removed. So these are pieces of wood, skids, and the fulois, the alpha privative plus a fule without leaves, so with the leaves removed. So they take a piece of a tree, cut off the leaves, and they get this skidza. But now splankna are paresantes. The for ana, that's a common thing that happens in Homer. In ana, the alpha disappears and the nu go, because this is a labial. You get a labial nasal here, so the n, which is a dental nasal, becomes a labial nasal. So this is for ana, and pe ra'o is to pierce. So yeah, the inner parts. So having pierced the inner parts, hoop air for hoop air, with an extra iota here for the sake of meter, and it's echo. So they held. So having pierced the inner parts, they held them over, literally Hephaestus. Now Hephaestus is used because he's the god of fire, he's used in place of fire, so you might say they held it over the fire of Hephaestus. Arte epe katmer ekae. This again is a stock expression in Homer, stock lines in Homer. But when, now the kata goes with the ekae. This is an aorist form, irregular form here from Chio. So when they had burnt the mare, this is the mare, the thighs, and passanta, from passamai, to taste, they had tasted the entrails. So when they had done all that, mustilon, there's another stock line here, mustilon taratala kaiam obiloisi eperan. They cut them into little, they cut everything else, the other things, then into little pieces. This is the meaning of mistulo. They cut it into little pieces, and they pierced it around the spits, the obeloisi. So it's a bit like our modern kebab. So they placed it around the spits, and this is from Optao. They roasted it periphradios, very carefully. This is eruo, and they drew off. Understand, off the spits everything. So they drew everything off the spit. So they roast it firstly on spits, and then they take it off the spits. A bit like perhaps modern souvlaki might be a better comparison here. Ater, but when they had ceased from their task, so it's taking a genitive here, from powwow, in the middle, aorist middle. So powwow I check, power my middle I cease, I check myself, and hence I cease. But when they had ceased from their labour, and tetukontot deita. This is again is another funny form here. It's from Tuco. It's a reduplicated aorist middle, and the deita from day is a feast, and they had prepared the feast. Dinunt, they dined. Well, they enjoyed the feast. They feasted. It's an imperfect, I think, without augment, so they began to feast, perhaps. Nor did the heart, nor was the heart lacking in any way in the balanced feast. Daitos, that's the genitive of daita there. But when, again another stock phrase here, but when, now it's X goes with the hento, and this is from Hiami, it's in the middle. So when they had let go of their desire for drink and food. So when they had satisfied, we might say, their desire for, this is a genitive here, from posis, connected with pino, to drink, of drink, and edertuos, another third declension genitive, and of food, then the up a bit here, then hippota, this is this nominative, the Gerenian horseman Nestor made a beginning of words then to them. O son of Atreus, Cudisti, most noble, Lord of Agamemnon, lord of men, Maketi nun de thou thilegometha. No longer now, for a long time yet still, or something, or again, may we speak. So in other words, it's enough of all this speaking. Nor still, thereon, another word for a long time. So actually the other thing could be here actually. So no longer now let us speak here, nor again thereon for a long time. And I'll just get this lined here. Now there's another example of this am for Anna. So it's anaballo is to delay or postpone, and again the alpha's gone, and then before the labial beta, the voice labial, we get the labial nasal, which is mu. So let as a hortatory subjunctive. So let us no longer for a long time postpone the task, which indeed the god Enguliizdo that literally has brought near to us, perhaps has conferred upon us. But come, kerokes. Now we get an imperative. This is the third person plural imperative down here. So let the heralds of the bronze chitoned Achaeans making announcements proclaiming, perhaps, let them gather the host Cataneus about the ships. So, but come, let the heralds of the bronze chitoned Achaeans. This could be from la on depending on la on as well. So it could be let the heralds proclaiming, making proclamation. Let them gather the host consisting of the bronze chitoned Achaeans. Let them gather Cataneus at the ships. Heme, that's our men here, now's the de. Hemes de, but let us, athroi, all together, thus, eomen, this is again, it would be eomen in Attic, it's a hortatory subjunctive with a short vowel from Amy Ibo. So let us go then together in this way about the broad army of the Achaeans, Ophrah, so that Agamemnon, now again it's a short omicron here, but it's probably short for the sake of meter. It should be subjunctive after Ophrah and then care. So that we might raise up Tharson more quickly, comparative here, harsh or perhaps sharp Aries, harsh war, sharp war. Hos Ephat, and thus he spoke, nor did Agamemnon, lord of men, Pythio, disobey him. So he did not disobey him. And forthwith, this is Agamemnon, he gave orders to the shrill-voiced heralds from Ligus and Phthongos. So he gave orders to the shrill-voiced heralds to announce, or almost to command, to announce that the long-haired Achaeans to war. So we might say to call the long-haired Achaeans to war. Hoimen Kerosen, and then we get a toi de. So they, the heralds, were making the proclamation, and the others, that's the Achaeans, were gathering together from Agero, it's passive here, very quickly. So it's were being gathered together, Maloka, very quickly. And Hoi Amphiatrona Diotrephes Basileus, Thunon Crinontes. So the kings who were nourished by Zeus, Thuno is to hurry, so this is imperfect here. So they were hurrying around Atraeon, another way of saying the son of Atreus, Crinontes. Well, it's a funny use of crino here. It has this idea of separating them out, so it's marshalling them, getting them into order. It is a funny use of crino, but you get in Homer, we've seen it before. It means dividing up the army. And Glauc opus Athena, and grey-eyed Athena was among them. and she was holding the aegis, and much debate about what this aegis is. It's some kind of talisman. I'll leave you to look at the commentaries on that one, but whatever it is, it's Eritimon Ageron Athanaten. So we get a nice threefold description here with no kais in between, so it's meant to be very effective. So it's very precious, ageless without age, so alpha privative with that ger root, so very precious, ageless and immortal. And now the thunasoi, here, the thunasoi, these are sort of tassels that are attached somehow to this aegis, around the edge of the aegis. So having this aegis, which is very precious, ageless, and immortal, and on it 100 all golden tassels, aerethiontai, were hung, I think, were lifted up, so were hung. All of them eupleches, beautifully woven, from pleco here, and each one was worth a hecatomb. So they're very expensive, of course, because I belong to the goddess. And with it, so that's with this aegis. So with it, the aegis is a feminine noun. As you can see back up here, because you've got Athena 10, these are two termination adjectives. But this one, well, this should be two termination as well, but if not, you can see from here that it's feminine, and that's why I've got te here. So with it, she, pi pasusa, this is a very funny word, it's only here I think in Homer, and it's very rare otherwise. It means to rush about. So with it, she rushing about. This is from Dia Suamai. She was darting through, hastening through the host of the Achaeans, Otranus Ianai, stirring them up to go. Now, Orsen from Ornumi, so she, and it's with the N here, so she stirred up strength for each man. So she stirred up strength for each man, cardiae, in his heart. This is probably alekton, as I look at it, it's neuter, it's probably an adverb here. It's alpha privative, they've doubled the lambda, and the lake root here is from lego, to cease. So I think this is an adverb, so it's polymizdein, to fight, to make war unceasingly, and to fight. And the afar is very strong, but, and goes with the det really, you can't really do both, it's sort of a big but. War became, glukeon is a comparative, became sweeter to them than neestai, to leave or to go in their hollow ships to their dear fatherland. So, interesting change of attitude. Before they were all very keen to jump in the boats and leave, go home, and now there's a change of heart. So now war, it became sweeter for them than to go in their hollow ships back to their dear fatherland. And that's the next section of Book 2.